an unsettling question. Is Syria directly funding terror? And now the horrifying answer. A top U.S. Treasury official is saying ISIS has made millions and millions of dollars selling oil to the Syrian government. Now, this lucrative business deal, despite Syrian President Bashar al-Assad and ISIS being at war with each other. Hawaii Representative Iraq War veteran and Army National Guard Major Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard goes on the record. Good evening, Congresswoman.
Aloha, Greta.
Well, that certainly is rather extraordinary if ISIS is getting funded by selling oil to Assad, and they're supposed to be warring with Assad.
I think before we get into that, I think it's important for us to remember who our enemy is, who our enemy should be. Let's look just back to San Bernardino, where we saw the terrorists who killed those 14 people. Let's look back to the Paris attacks and who conducted those attacks. Let's look back to 9/11 and who flew those planes into the Twin Towers. These people were not fighting on a mission directed by the Syrian President Assad. We know exactly who they are, these Islamic extremist groups, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, who are exactly who our enemy should be. And I think that should be our focus here, rather than getting distracted by this war to overthrow the Syrian government of Assad, which is essentially undermining our war to defeat ISIS.
Well, except for one problem, though, is that ISIS needs money. And in order for ISIS to operate, it needs money. And if it's getting the oil out of the ground that they are now occupying, and if Assad is helping them by buying the oil and giving them money, that's terrible. And even Turkey is rumored to be buying oil from ISIS as well, also supplying money at the same time fighting. And where does Turkey sell its oil that it gets? It sells it to Russia, who's supporting Assad. So, I mean, this is just a circular firing squad.
Yeah, and I think there's two important points to make here as we're talking about this. One is I think these reports that are just coming out now that are surfacing, I think are a very transparent attempt to deflect criticism away from Turkey, which has come under fire lately for being that major transit point for ISIS to sell its oil. We see Erdogan's son-in-law is the head of the energy division there for Turkey. His son heads the largest energy company in Turkey, and both of them are being accused of profiting from ISIS oil sales. But let's look at the reality of what's happening, or what they're saying is happening in Syria. And the fact is, whether or not Syria is buying oil from ISIS has a very minimal consequence as compared to the open border that Turkey has that has allowed for three things to occur. For ISIS to go and sell this oil, whether it's to Turkey or through Turkey to other places. It's allowed this open flow of foreign fighters, of equipment, weapons, and ammunition. And it's allowed this funding, Turkey directly funding groups like Al-Qaeda and Al-Nusra and many of these other groups that are directly working to overthrow the Syrian government of Assad.
It's just incredible what's going on, and how it's all such a tortured history and trail going through there among all of them. Congresswoman, thank you.
Thanks.